Chef Alan, out of all the restaurants that you wanted to dine at, why Murphy's Bar and Grill?
Well, Don and Marianne Murphy, they give back to the community so much. They're very generous with their time. You know, we're in a time where, you know, we have to support our restaurants. Okay, that's why I chose Murphy's.
Going back to all of the things that you've done, I've always noticed, like on your menu, you've always cultivated something from every ethnicity here in Hawaii, and it stems from the plantation days, and you've shared that story with me. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I think it's important for all of the staff, you know, for the younger people to understand Hawaii's history. So as a training tool, we take all the new employees out to this place in Waipahu next to the sugar mill called Hawaii Plantation Village. 66% of the local people are Chinese, Japanese, or Filipino. Then you got the Koreans, Okinawans, the Portuguese, and the Puerto Ricans. These are all the different cooking methods and techniques. Well, I incorporated history. You know, what happened in Hawaii? So the history of Hawaii is important because it gives the cooks a foundation to work off of. And I tell them, you know, hey, be proud of your heritage. Be proud of who you are, you know, no matter what nationality, and cook that way.
48 years in the industry. You've had 48 amazing years. What do you feel was that aha moment for you? What types of things did you learn or you were able to share or cultivate?
Well, I started as a dishwasher, right, way back in 1972 at Down the Beachcomber Restaurant. And so I cannot give you one aha moment. There were many. There were many people that influenced me and helped me. There were like many moments that, you know, you like, oh wow. Like for example, I was teaching school at KCC. I opened the Diamond Head campus and we were doing a demonstration on French emulsions, like a vinaigrette. So this one girl comes to me and she says, my student, my mom gave you some pickled mango. Cute, eh? So she gives me the pickled mango, the blender's right here, we're in this lesson, you get all the ingredients, and so I said, let me throw that in a blender. So I made pickled mango vinaigrette, and it came out really good. So I thought, if you can take something as local as pickled mango, what else local can you turn into a French-style emulsified vinaigrette? So trust me, I tried everything, okay? Even Kalua pig went inside there one time. By the way, no work, okay? But in that aha moment, it was, hey, if you take local ingredients, pickled mango, turn that into something French, what else can we do? So that began that, yeah? I think I'm gonna have to say that the Canoe House restaurant at the Mauna Lani Bay Hotel, that's where I was first told, hey, Alan, just cook. Okay, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, just cook. So I was given the freedom. And so I think it was at that time, that was in 1989 when I opened it, that it created the style that I would be continuing to work on my craft, working in. Because at that time, it had no label.
So going back to 1989, and you had pretty much carte blanche on how you wanted to cultivate your menu, do you feel that that's when you became Alan Wong? When did you feel that you were Alan Wong?
And I was always Alan Wong. So I always say, and I used to tell the cooks this, you know, humility is important to me. Be humble, you know. You always want to be on the good side of a review. You know, it's good for the restaurant to get awards and recognition. And when the restaurant receives some kind of recognition, you know, I tell everybody, listen, there is a reason why I'm telling you guys to do this way. So we do certain things a certain way. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. This is why we buy this ingredient. And so now some people look at me like I'm mad, but there's a method to this madness, right? And so it validates everything that we taught everybody.
So going back to the teaching, if you look at all of the people that have worked, your team, all of your team that have grown from working with you and have established themselves and have wonderful restaurants here, they always have the same consistent message, which is really supporting the local farmers. Why is that so important to you?
Number one, I love Hawaii. And I always felt that, you know, we got to leave this place better than when we first got into it. you know, the word here is sustainability. So these are the next chefs, the next farmers. And so it's important to teach them.
I would like you to try your dish. What did you order?
We're at Murph's, Irish corned beef.
That's a
You know?
beautiful piece of corned beef. right
It's
there.
beautiful. Your salad looks great too.
This is gorgeous.
And you know, for me growing up, this is a luxury because for me growing up, my corned beef, if I had corned beef, came out of the can.
So with the closure of South King Street, your flagship, now you have lots of time. And I know you're not going to retire. So what's on the horizon for you?
I think it's like a pause, looking for a better day, as I said. You know, I'm always curious. It's about evolution. It's about growth. It's about change. You know, I always used to tell the people too, the staff, you know, when life knocks you down, you get up, and you get up right away. You get up right away and you make a change so that the same thing doesn't happen to you again. So when you combine that with, you know, being curious and wanting to grow and evolve, you know, I love to create things. I mean, that's one of my passions, to create. And the second passion is to teach that.
There was a couple of different things that you offered on the menu during the pandemic, and it was comfort foods. And there was a traditional beef stew that you made, and you shared that with me that it was one of the best sellers. What other comfort foods did you make?
When we pivoted to takeout, it was an aha moment. The best seller was the beef stew. All I asked everybody was, you want the wet red tomato kind, which I like, you know, it's a local style beef stew for me, or you want the thick brown Western style kind. So they said the thick brown one. And that was the best seller, along with things like pork watercress soup, poi stew, done the old fashioned way. Not too many people do it that way. It had tons of poi inside, which is healthy. And a seafood chowder. Those are the best sellers.
So comfort food provided by Alan Wong, I can see why that would sell out.
That beef stew had no frills, no twists. It was beef stew. And so I was thinking, okay, everyone's in this certain mode, and it's about getting back to what's comfortable, comfort food.
Even with the pandemic happening right now, there's a lot of restaurants opening. And what would you say about this next generation of restaurants and chefs?
You know, I'm really proud of the successes of our alumni. You know, when you think about who's out there, we got Corey Chow, who came from the California Culinary Academy. Now he's the executive chef of Per Se, one of Thomas Keller's restaurants in New York City. Jonathan Mizukami, who was in the Thomas Keller group, is now the executive chef at the Kahala. Then, you know, MW, Lance, Michelle and Wade, they're doing great. Lance is an executive chef. There's you know, Gary out there, and John Motzbar has his own restaurant, you know. So I'm really proud of all of their accomplishments and successes. You know, there are still restaurants opening. Another alumni, Kiaka Lee, is opening next month. And hats off, I give them credit. You know, it's a tough time. They're going to have to navigate through some different circumstances. And I think this show is really, really good and important because it gives publicity. It gives everybody an idea of, you know, the restaurants around town. And, you know, the message is go out and support your local restaurants.